Everyone, so this is my art book, Take a Moment to Sketch. This first drawing is one that I saw in the window. It was just a bunch of hand smudges from opening the window, but this is what I saw in the smudges. I tried really hard to get a picture of the smudge on the window, but I couldn't get it to come out right. This is the second page. It has a bunch of random doodles of my hands, the cats, my laptop, a book, foxes, just some random stuff that I enjoyed and some weird hand positions that I found. The third page is just a little mountain, ocean, sky scene. The third page is just a couple extra doodles. I can't remember what inspired me to make the winged goddess. This is my last page right now. It's got a character that I'm developing and some representations of me. And then I have more drawings to do later on, and I'll be doing one in just a minute. Alright, these are all my art books. There's quite a few of them. I've been collecting over the last 2 years. I don't have as many as I'd like, but I have quite a few, so I'm going to show you my books. This is my compendium of acrylic painting techniques. I'll flip through it real quick so you can see some of the pages. This is Acrylics for Absolute Beginners. It's the first book that I got. It has some simple landscapes to try and paint if you've never painted with acrylics before. It goes over the equipment you need and basic color guides and guides on how to make skies, oceans, and trees. This is my color vision book, but it talks just about color theory again and visual dynamics and how to make things eye-catching. This is the first illustration book I got on how to draw cats. Found it at my local thrift store. It's a cute, simple book to help you get started with drawing kitties, because I'd like to create a comic of our babies Binks and Neo. It doesn't just show you domestic cats, it also has a leopard here in the back that I'm having a hard time getting to. Here's my second illustration book, the one I was the most excited for, Manga Academy. These are the kind of comics I'd like to start drawing once I create my OCs and start really getting into people illustrations, because right now I'm just doing some doodles and I haven't studied figures very much, so proportions are still difficult. This is the first book that I started actually illustrating with. It's just kawaii doodles. I'm using them for my first comic that I'm making, which is just going to be called Happy Doodles, and it's just going to be mostly the food doodles for right now to get me started on Webtoons, where I now have an account. Here's another drawing book I got for how to do figures that are more in action poses and are kind of like action hero-esque. It's got a lot of great examples on how you can draw different kinds of figures, and all of them within actionable moves and characteristics. It gives more facial expressions as well, which I like. I almost forgot one of my books, which is the Complete Book of Color. I like this book a lot more than my other color book, even though I didn't lose, I never had the cover to it, because this is another one that I found at a thrift store. But I like this one more because it has a lot more visuals, and this also goes into the psychology of color and how color affects you emotionally and psychologically, how you can use color in different ways, not just in painting or drawing or things like that, how to put it in your home and things like that, and I really like the book. Alrighty, here we go. I'm gonna start doing a little doodle. It's I'm looking for a little corgi to do, just a cute little puppy. I've done a lot of cats and foxes. I hadn't doodled a dog at this point. Looking online for a quick reference for a cute little corgi that I think will fit in this space in my journaling book. I normally start with the ears. I find it easier to keep the head proportioned when you get the ears to match. Proportions can still be a bit of a difficulty for me, but I mostly can see where I've gone wrong after. But considering that I'm not a digital artist, I do still do hand-drawn illustrations right now. It's pretty hard to go back once I notice that I've made a mistake, but they're all good learning experiences. I actually use a tip by Sam Does Arts for figuring out if my proportions are right. I'll take my drawings into the bathroom and I'll put them in the mirror so that I can see them, and it immediately becomes clear what's off on the painting, because obviously, again, since I'm a hand illustrator right now, I can't just flip it over on my own. So here I've got the base of him done. I've got his ears going and his little head started. Now I'm going to do the detail on his fur and his little nose. I have to say I had a lot of fun making this little corgi. When I started to do his eyes, I was tempted to just leave them as little happy eyes, but then I really wanted to try and get the pupils in there the right way, because I can have a hard time with eye shape sometimes too, putting emotions onto my drawings that I'm not trying to put there. Like how he originally looks a little angry when I'm starting, and I'm not trying to make him look like Sid's dog. And then I shade him just a little bit so you can see the difference between where the white and the darker fur is. I grab one of my white markers to try and add highlights on the eyes because I can't erase it at this point. I try to take at least one moment a day to draw. I like using it as time to take a break and just relax, and it's mostly what I spend my 5-minute breaks working on. Is I'll grab my sketchbook that's right next to my laptop and just sketch something that's around the room that I find interesting. Here's my little corgi. And here's my reference. And my cute little corgi. I think they came out looking pretty similar. I'm really happy with it. And again, here's my little sketchbook that I'm going to flip through one more time. We got that first drawing of what I'd like to think is like an elf warrior who's just witnessed something terrible. And then my second page where I drew my hands in a couple different positions, and I drew a bunch of little foxes, a squishmallow. I practiced around with some eyes, drew my water, my laptop, my phone. Get a closer look at everything here. And then this is that landscape again that I like. Here's my badass goddess. one of our cats, a figure sitting in a meditation pose, and what turned out looking like Sasquatch but is supposed to be a fox. And then there's our little corgi on the last page next to me. I also almost forgot 2 pages that aren't in my book. My first OC that I'm gonna be making named Faith. Faith is a representation of my best self that I made through journaling, and I'd like to bring her to reality as an original character. And then I tried to draw a picture of my fiance and I, but this is where you can see my proportions. There's just something off about both of their faces. And I'll show you a picture of my Happy Doodle series on Webtoons. I already have the first comic mostly written. It's about a cute little honey bun, but it will be up soon, so please go check it out. Thank you all for being here. Have the best rest of your day, and may you find a reason to laugh and smile each and every day. Namaste, my friends.